Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and today I want to talk about some cool things we've seen in the demo. 8 things in fact. The demo is of course full of plenty of stuff to test out, some new moves, some new maps, fight some new monsters, and amidst that there are also some nice little subtle details. So today I thought I would just highlight some of the cool things that we have encountered, both in terms of gameplay, things to see, just stuff like that in the demo so far. So if you guys do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. If you found anything else cool yourself, if you encountered anything that's made you be like, oh my gosh, that is awesome, let me know about it down below. And of course, do be sure to keep it locked for plenty more Sunbreak. So, in at number 1, the Malzeno teleport. Basically, this is just hella cool and also kind of ominous at the same time, just like really scary. Malzeno, of course, once it goes into its second form, once it absorbs enough of your blood, it will then basically go into an enraged state, a sort of like a fearsome, bloody state, if you will. And when it goes into this state, it goes full-scale Dracula, and it can basically blink teleport. I'm talking like Minato from Naruto style teleport, just appear behind you and then it's like, whoa, what the hell? Like before you know it, he is away from you, and then he's in your face. It is super menacing, super devastating, and again, if you don't expect it, you might get caught off guard. Speaking of Malzeno, have you stopped to listen to the weapons? Of course, sometimes monsters have special, unique sounds when you actually get their gear, and Malzeno, being a blood-sucking monster, being a vampire, actually has some cool sound effects on the greatsword. His greatsword makes this sound that we can only assume is basically blood-sucking when you charge. It's a super cool feature, and it therefore makes me excited to see what other weapons have unique effects. Next on the list we have the Greatsword Counter Bomb. Now of course we've shown you in the past how to use, say, little bombs to proc things like Metsu Shorigeki on your sword and shield, or of course the Longsword Counter, and surprise surprise, it also works for the Greatsword's new counter move. Hysteria is the move whereby you use Iron Silk to reinforce both your arms and weapon temporarily to fend off attacks, and if used whilst charging you can build up power while evading attacks and unleash a fierce onslaught afterwards. This also has a pretty fast recharge rate, but basically if you want to use this on a sleeping or a down monster, then the bomb tech also works very nicely with the Greatsword Counter. Then moving on from there, we have the Powder type Kinsect. This one is hella cool. They dropped a video recently showing off 3 of the new Kinsect bonuses, and the Powder one they spoke about the Kinsect that basically goes around and gathers different extract types, leaves these sort of clouds in the sky, and you can then perform this vortex move where you basically gather them together into an explosion. Now the demonstration video they showed was kind of cool. However, when you see this in motion in game, and of course you stack these together, it is actually very potent. Obviously keep in mind demo damage numbers are not necessarily indicative of the final game, but honestly I kind of hope they keep these because this thing hits like a truck. And more interestingly, if you then run with 4 Insect Glaive users and you're all doing this, when one person performs the vortex, it will actually pull together everyone's different extract clouds. It does of course have a limited radius, it's quite generous, but it won't grab everything from the entire map, but it will pull them together and you can really see some meaty damage numbers. So definitely give this a try. You basically want to fire at your Kinsect, leave some of those clouds behind, and when your Kinsect is out, you then hold down right trigger, press X+A together, it'll then perform the vortex, and you can see the explosions happen. If you want more details, you can of course also go to the Hunter Notes to find out more. We then have the Marionette Spider, the brand new edition this time around. This one allows you to, as opposed to the last one, the previous spider from Rise that would basically just initiate a Wyvern ride right away, this one is used to pull monsters in different directions and most notably into walls. With this one you can of course go through and you fire it forward. Keep in mind the way that it works, you fire at this sort of wire bug tether in a straight direction, so you do want to make sure the monster isn't running away, but once you've caught them you will then have this tether between you, and if you then put some distance between you and the monster and you roll, or you wire bug in a different direction, you can actually pull them in that direction. It's kind of reminiscent of the Clutch Claw Yeet from Monster Hunter World, albeit more of a pull than a yeet. Speaking of new bugs, endemic life, stuff like that, we also have the Starburst bugs. These are basically rings of little monsters, little sort of insects you will see on the walls. They are in the new maps, they're also in the old maps, and these are described as beetles that can be found in star-shaped clusters. Once established in a location, they remain stationary there for ages. Their shells are covered in a type of dust that reacts to external stimuli, yielding a change in the creature's colours. Upon impact, such as from a monster, the dust detonates. While this detonation will cause harm to creatures exposed to it, the beetles themselves are protected by their hard shells. So, no beetles are harmed in the making of this. But basically, if you have this, again, use this in conjunction with the Marionette Spider, or just get in the back of a monster, wyvern riding it, and just yeet it into the wall. If you yeet it into these ones, you get some nice, big, explosive damage. Speaking of more things you can actually use, there are the slice crabs. These are actually kind of cool as well. Basically, pretty simple. It's like a wall turret. Not really much more to say than that, but they are also hella cool, so do make sure you're not sleeping on the new endemic light.
Well done!
Bye-bye!
And then finally, the Kittanator. I know I mentioned this in a previous one, but I have had so much fun seeing this in action. Got some more good gameplay with it this time around where it actually does hit. Don't forget, if you are going into multiplayer hunts, you might want to think about bringing your Palico as opposed to the Palamute. Yes, the Palamute does help you get around the map quicker, but the Palico does have the Kittanator, which, if it does deploy it and you pull the monster towards it and it lands it, it is a mini Dragonator, which, of course, generally speaking, will result in an almost guaranteed knockdown. So, don't sleep on this. Anyway, there you have it. There are 8 cool things you've seen in the demo so far. Let me know in the comments down below what else you guys have discovered, what else you've seen, what else you've enjoyed doing. If you've missed some of our recent videos, be sure to check out one of these ones, and stay tuned for plenty more.